it's actually for folks not aware, the name threshold comes from kind of the setup that you guys have, right? The 51-100 multi-sig is kind of what you guys are operating, and then you have to reach threshold, hence the name of 51 over 100 to do kind of any significant action. Do you see are there any issues with that model right now? Like in terms of, have you learned anything about having that wide of a multi-sig, I guess, to be able to take action?
Yeah, I mean, in part we're constrained by the capabilities that the Bitcoin network in itself has. So that multi-sig is a Bitcoin native multi-sig, and the 51 of 100 seats, they get randomly selected from operators in our node network, and they get assigned, and then those node operators are the ones performing, or they're composing the threshold signatures together in order to execute either a mint transaction or a withdrawal on the Bitcoin chain. And we have an architecture that has this kind of forward security model, and the wallets that are custodying the Bitcoin continually rotate. So we have forward security in terms of those participants on the seats. But certainly, in terms of the technical details there, when the when the first iteration of TBTC v2 went live with the 51 of 100 multi-sig, it was using an older signing schema that was common on the Bitcoin network at the time, or was the only option. It was ECDSA. And that, for its own kind of technical reasons and efficiency reasons, could only support basically a 51 of 100 multi-sig. These days, actually, since the Taproot upgrade on Bitcoin, there's a new signing schema called Schnorr, and it's much more efficient in terms of the signing process, and you can create much higher multi-sigs. So rather than having like a 51 of 100 multi-sig and that being the downside, we actually want to go in the opposite direction and increase the number of seats. But I mean, if it was not an automated process via the nodes, and we had to rally that many signers for whatever reason, just to like draw on the kind of DAO execution experience where, some time sensitive thing and you're pinging people and like I'm at work, I can't get to my signing. It's not like that. It's all automated, luckily, and it would be great to increase not only the efficiency of signing but also the number of seats on that multi-sig. It is something that we're looking at, but at the same time, like what we have created with TBDC v2 is basically the best in market in terms of trust minimization that you can achieve for a Bitcoin wrapper at this stage, and that's coming from this like optimistic signing model that we've implemented. But there are these new developments that are looking at things like BitVM 2 or BitVM 3, or these different implementations of BitVM, which is basically a way for signatures to get validated on Bitcoin natively, effectively. And what we have right now is an honest majority trust assumption with threshold. We need the majority of our nodes to be operating with positive intentions in order to have security. But with BitVM and these on-chain validations of proofs on Bitcoin, you can reduce the trust assumption to a 1 of n. So you only need one node in the network of n nodes to be operating with integrity, and you'll always have security or redeemability of the Bitcoin, the underlying Bitcoin. So that's the theoretical best trust model that you can achieve. And there are a bunch of people trying to implement that right now. So it's something that we're following quite closely. And rather than re-implementing TBTC v2 using the new signing schema, it's likely that we'd just jump straight to a BitVM style model, and that would reduce the trust assumptions and improve the efficiency in the same way. And while we see these competing, in a sense, protocols out there that everybody wants to do a Bitcoin bridge to their L2 or to an L1, I think that Threshold positions itself more as kind of like a ubiquitous liquidity layer between all of those destinations. And I don't really see the utility in every chain having its own BTC asset, because you have liquidity fragmentation, you'll have greater slippage, you'll have less efficient markets. And so we need something that can bridge it all effectively. And Threshold's perfectly positioned to do that because we're chain agnostic and we're interested in the same kind of problem solving as these guys are. So hopefully, as the space develops, I really hope that all of these Bitcoin L2s continue to grow and build their use cases. But they do need to differentiate. I think that's something that they're struggling with at the moment. But should they achieve their goals and create volume and liquidity on their chain, then Threshold will be there to ensure that interoperates with the rest of the Bitcoin economy.